Okay, so boom. Two main characters, Cha and Donnie. They're two good friends. They met when they were kids. Cha almost gets hit by a car. Donnie pushes him out the way. She ends up getting hit by the car. She's spinning in the air like this for no reason. She ends up being on bed rest for a year. He comes to visit her and bring her books, and it ignites his love for all things books. He ends up becoming a best-selling author and a chief editor, like the top in his publishing company, and she goes off to become a popular copywriter. And how the story begins, how the episode comes in, is she's getting married. She got cold feet. She's hiding in Cha's car. They end up running for a little while. It looks like they're going to run away together, but they don't. She ends up going back, marrying her husband. They have a kid. The husband cheats. He leaves her with nothing. And it was just rough from there. Cha never liked her man. Like when that was her boyfriend, he got vibes from him right away. Like when they first met, the guy was very into himself. Me, pay attention to me, da. And it was just a turn off. So they never got cool. And also, because of that, he and Donnie, their relationship kind of was on a simmer. So they was friends, but they wasn't like how they were. So, yeah. She also took a break from work to raise their daughter. She took a 7-year break. And that's kind of like not a good thing. And I don't even know why. Because if you can do the job, why don't they just hire you? Why they always have to look at, oh, it's a gap here. What happened? Like life. I have a daughter. I raised my kid. Like I could still do my work. And also she's 37. So they're making it seem like she's some old lady. And oh, if we hire you, you know, it's going to be weird for the younger people. That they'll be bossing you around, and that might be weird for them. Like, what? Just do your job. But anyways, she got divorced. She's taking care of their daughter. She sends the daughter to boarding school. Either she sent her there or she was already there. They don't really pull the kid into it. She's only there for a little bit. You don't even see her, honestly. She's like not really in the show at all. Just the little bit in the beginning. So yeah, she's in boarding school. And of course, Donnie needs a job. She keeps looking, but she's overqualified for every job that she's applying for, and nobody's hiring her. Like, she went to so many job interviews. So one interview in particular, the lady was a real drag. Like, how dare you try to apply for this job? Do you know how hard I worked to get here? Like, girl, that sounds very personal, and I don't even know you. So I don't know why you confiding to me about that. You better be praying, because that seemed like a personal thing to me. That's a self, you know, figure that out for yourself. But anyways, and then she was working as Cha's cleaning lady, and he didn't even know. It's like, how do you not know that your own friend is cleaning your house? But I guess he was always at work. So she found a red bra, and she called him. She's like, oh my gosh, your cleaning lady said she found a red bra. How many chicks do you be having in and out this house? And he was like, well, she is very, very nosy. Why she going through my stuff? I feel like she also ate some of my food. Like, and I'm having a laugh, because I'm just like, she did. And it's your friend, but you don't know. She's cleaning his house. She's taking the money. She's eating the food, and she's sleeping there because obviously she don't have nowhere to go. I mean, she was also staying in the house that she had when she was married, but when he left, who's paying? So the house don't belong to them no more, but she was still staying there. And she's just, you know, carrying on in her day. There's no running water and there's no light, so I don't even know. But she hears some construction outside. She goes outside, and they're like, man, what are you doing in here? You need to get out of here. This is not your property. Like, you could get in trouble. Get your stuff and go. So she got her stuff, ended up spending the night at Cha's house. And yeah, so it was weird. He eventually found out that she was staying there because he kept hearing stuff. And then when he just shrugged it off, like, maybe I just need to go to bed, he decides to give it one more look. She on the other side of the island in the kitchen tearing some food up. He peeked, don't see nothing. Then when she peeked, he right there. Click on the light. Are you you in my house? Like, what's going on? What happened to your husband? What are you doing here? Obviously, it took a lot for her because she went through a lot of stuff. She didn't tell him anything, so he had no idea. He's thinking, okay, she using her degree. She's married still. They taking care of the family. Got their house in order. And all of that is jacked up. But she said nothing. So she told him. Of course, he's upset. And he just like, it's on sight when I see him. To himself, because you know. But, yeah. So she ends up seeing like a flyer that's like wanting an entry-level person to apply to his publishing company. So she applies, but she lies on her resume because obviously they're not going to hire her because she's too experienced. So she said she only had a high school education and little to no like work experience. So she got hired as a member of the task support team. And she was a temp. And she also got hired with 2 other recruits. I have notes. So, because these names are beautiful and I will mess them up. Jiul, who is very spoiled. She's just very much lazy. Her mother is very in her love life. Oh, blind date here, blind date there. If you go on these dates, I'll give you an allowance. So she just goes on the dates and suffers herself. Ki-dong, which is a nice guy. He's cute, a cute kid. He's very, energetic. He's nice. He's on the marketing team, and Ji Yul is on the editing team. So it's 3 hires, and then they have Hayren, who is the trainer of the recruits, and she also has a very big crush on Cha, and she is the one who the red bra belongs to. And every time she gets drunk from having a failed relationship, she goes over Cha's house and she leaves clothes over there. I don't know what is that. And she also writes him a letter, telling him how much she cares and loves him, and puts it in his bookshelf. He has a bookshelf full of books, so she hides letters in there for him. Okay, let's also expand on who else is working in Gaioru. I don't know. That's the name of the publishing company, okay? So you have the CEO. I don't know. I'm not going to mess up these names. You have the CEO. You have Bong, who I'm not too sure what he does, but he's very poetic. And you have Miss Young, who is the marketing team manager. And she's married to Bong. You have Miss Go, who is the director. She's very stiff, very prissy, very just a tightwad. I don't mean no disrespect, but there's always gotta be that one when it's like, watch out for her. That's the one. She's the one. And there's other people, but these are the main core characters that are on the show. So, and also, on the show in that workplace. They hire her. But before that, let's rewind to when she didn't have the job. And she was trying to go to another job interview, and she was at the bus stop waiting for the bus. And so many people were coming to go on the bus as well, and she ends up losing her shoe. It goes into the road. So she has to make a decision. Do I get my shoe or do I get on this bus? What am I going to do? So she just decides, I'm going to get my shoe. I can reschedule my interview. So she thought. She goes to get her shoe. The shoe's gone. She calls up the place.
Hey guys, I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to make it in. Do you think we could reschedule?
Girl, don't nobody care about what you got going on. Are you coming or not? We not rescheduling, and it's a wrap for you if you don't come.
Whatever, I don't care. I never wanted to be at that job anyway. I make my own decisions.
Tears. Hang up like that. So she ends up with one shoe on, walking down the street. She goes in the store. Her daughter had got sick. So she, her daughter calls her, says, Mom, I don't feel well. She's like, girl, go to the doctor. And she's like, Mom, we don't have money. She's like, you can go to the doctor. I have money. I will take care of it. So now she's in the store. She's getting something. Her daughter calls her, tells her, the doctor said I'm going to be okay. Just send the bill. I'll send you the bill. You send me the money. I think I understand now. Because at first it was confusing. She got to pay the doctor over where she's at. I want to say, I looked up that she's in the Philippines, in boarding school in the Philippines. So she's going to pay the doctor. So, Donnie ends up getting a green onion plant, and she walks out the store. She decides, look, I'm not going to be limping around. I got on one shoe. She took off her other shoe. She throws it in the garbage. She ends up in front of this wedding store, and she has a drink in her hand, and she's just saying what she need to say and staring because it's hurtful. You know, people don't be thinking they're going to get married to get divorced, or that they fall in love with someone and that person doesn't really reveal themselves until you all the way deep in it, and that's just awful. So I know she was just saying what's on her heart. She was heartbroken. Here comes this drunk man grabbing on her, and she's like, what are you doing? Don't ever touch my body. Beep, 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 beep. All the names that he deserves to be called, and he literally playing tug of war with her. With my own body. You're touching me. I'm saying get off me, and you're pulling, tugging. So I'm just like watching the show like, please let somebody come and help this lady, because can she get a break? Jeez. So here comes the man. Get off her. The guy backs off. Don't think that just because I'm backing up, I'm scared. I want love too. And it's just like, nobody even asked you why you were here. Why are you here? Like, you didn't even need to be here. That was so random. You just gonna grab the first person you see and say you want love too. Like, go home. So the guy has Donnie's wrist. She's looking at him. He's like, oh, I'm very sorry. Are you okay? And he's just like looking at her feet because she don't got no shoes on. And she's like, what? You never seen nobody with shoes off? Like, you never seen a barefoot person before? He's like, not when it's not summertime. Like, he's just like, come with me. Come have a seat. And it's just like, okay, you a stranger, but I'm going to follow you, okay? I'm just going to follow you. So she follows him. She sits on the bench. And he takes out a cloth and he wipes her feet. And at this point, I'm like this. Because I'm invested. Because right now, if that don't work out, I for sure know that we're going to work. Because I'm already here with it. Pap, I'm right here with it. So he wipes her feet. And he's like, don't think I'm crazy, but I have a pair of shoes in my bag. I don't carry around shoes, but this lady lost her shoe in the road, and I was trying to give it to her, but she couldn't hear me, and so I just put it in my bag. And it just so happens that I walk out of the store and look in the garbage, and I find the same shoe, the missing foot. I find it, and he's like, this is like Cinderella. She just like, we don't do that Cinderella stuff around here. I don't need all of that, blah, blah. He just looking at her like, yeah, sure, okay, that's no problem. So she's like, thank you for finding my shoes. And he just like, wait, what? I found your shoes and I bumped into you and saved your life. He didn't say all that, but you could tell in his face. He's just like, oh my gosh, what are the odds that I find a woman's shoes and you're the woman who the shoes belong to? So she was just like, here, take this green onion plant as payment. Just, you know, keep cutting it and using it in your food and it will continue to grow for you, da da da. Then it starts raining, because why wouldn't it rain? It has to rain when it's a little sad moment in the story. It always just manages to do that. So it starts to rain. And of course, he's the man that has it all. So he has an umbrella and he holds it over her and he's like, take this umbrella. And she's just like, well, what you going to use? He said, just please take it. And so he runs off. So that was a little meet cute. If you ever seen To All the Boys I Loved Before, the third one, when she was explaining what a meet cute is, that was a meet cute. Like, you have a cute story on how y'all met. It's kind of not cute. It's sad, but I don't know. I found beauty in it. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be so wrong, but yeah. So yeah, she meets him, And his name is C. June, but we're gonna call him Umbrella, okay? No offense, I love him so much. Like, I can stop. Yeah. So he is a freelance book designer, and he's very good at what he does. So good that Gaioru Publishing wants him, and they're doing whatever they can to make sure they get this guy on their team because he is the best of the best. And he's like, I'm not willing to work with you guys. I heard some things. There's also an author that is very, very famous that you guys contract with that disappeared. So what happened to him? Did y'all kidnap him? Did y'all kill him? What did y'all do? Like, they had actually, he met up with Cha and CEO. He was going in on them. Tell me what happened. And they're just like, look, man, chill on that. We don't got time. So now it's beef. It's beef between them. And isn't that crazy? Cha, Donnie, and now Umbrella. Umbrella and Cha don't like each other already. Cha and Donnie cool. Donnie and Umbrella extra cool. And what would that do for us? Create problems. Not really, but a little bit. So yeah. So they keep begging him to come on there. He's like, I'm not gonna be a part of y'all team. I will never join y'all team. But then he likes Donnie, so he asks her out. Like, he's like, we always bump into each other, and it's just a coincidence. So how about next time we bump into each other, it's on purpose? How about that? How about that? So they traded numbers, and they're gonna go on a date. It's important to know that he and Hayren had an encounter. He went to the flower shop to get flowers. He ends up making the same bouquet as Hayren. Hayren's flowers are for an author that's having a speaking event where she's going to read her book. And I think so are his, because I believe that he is designing the cover. So they both get the same bouquet, and when the bouquet is done, they both reach for it, and he's like, these are mine. She's like, no, these are mine. He said, I ordered these. She said, so did I. And when she seen him, she knew who he was, and she knew how bad her company wanted him there. So she was just like, have the flowers. And he just like, you a stranger, you can have your flowers. She's like, no, you have them. That way you owe me a favor. And he's like, I don't want to owe you no favors. She's like,
Take the flowers.
so he took the flowers. And the favor is, come work for us, okay? .org. And he does. He ends up working for them, and he's elated to know that Donnie works there, and she's superb because obviously she's overqualified. She does this. This is her career. She's into this. So she's doing very well, but obviously they don't know because to them, she's just graduated high school and she doesn't have any experience. So they're just amazed at everything that she's doing. So yeah. Now the issue with Cha is he's a little jacked up in the love department, and he's blaming that on Donnie. I don't know if it's because maybe he liked her and she didn't, like, respond to him, maybe, or that her marriage went sour and it just gave him unfortunate, taste of how love looks and stuff. But what else? Yeah, but he ends up liking her because they spend a lot of time together and stuff. But to her, she's Nuna. I'm your big sis. You're my little brother. And he don't like that. Stop calling me bro. I'm not your brother. I'm a man. And he's just like, I'm going to show you. So, they go back and forth with their little vibes. And there are some times when he comes to her extremely attractive with it, chest poked out, and got that heart going pitter-patter. So she's freaking out like, this is my brother. Like, why is my heart beating so fast like this? Girl, that is not your brother. That's finna be your man. Keep it up. That's finna be your man, girl. So, yeah, and he thinks it's so funny that she's feeling like this. she going around in circles, and he's just having a ball with that. So yeah, Bong and Miss Young are married, and they got divorced. Now, what happened was there's plenty of instances, but I guess this one was the straw that broke the camel's back. They were at the mall shopping for his family, and she sees a shoe store and she wants shoes. So she's just like, "Oh, can we look?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, of course, let's go look." She's doing what people that shop do. She's picking up the shoe, she's looking at it, don't really like it, put it down. Picking up another one, put it down. At least she's putting them back. The store guy is like,
Miss, you keep touching the shoes, you're not buying stuff. Stop picking them up and putting them back.
and she just like,
What's going on? What is the problem?
and her husband's like,
Honey, let's just buy a pair of shoes. The first pair of shoes look nice.
she's like,
Absolutely not. We're leaving.
so they leave. And she's like,
Can you believe this guy?
and he's like,
Well, he looked like he was on lunch. Maybe he was just tired.
and she's like,
Are you kidding? You're supposed to be on my side. Why are you worrying about how he's feeling when you should be worrying about me? You never worry about what I'm going through. Like, what is that?
and she's yelling. But the yell, you can hear the pain in it. And he's just like,
Okay, stop
She
yelling.
said, no.
No, I'm not going to stop yelling. Like, you never have my back, and I just don't like that. I don't understand that. What is that?
And he's like,
Okay, I understand.
and she's like,
You don't understand me, but you will. I want a divorce.
and I'm like, whoa. Just because they went to the mall, but no. So I find out in watching that Donnie and Miss Young went to the club. They couldn't get in because they were dressed like golden gorgeous girls. And you know how clubs are. It seems like it's the same everywhere. You gotta look, okay? If you look, then you're not getting in. So, they was dressed like, so, he was like, absolutely not, y'all not coming in. And then Miss Go comes in. She comes on the scene. She's looking good. Like, she is a socialite. She is the light and the life of the night, okay? So everybody's like, wow, she looks so beautiful, da da da. And she know. We talking about an independent woman just on the stroll with it. I came out to have a good time. So they see her and she's all like, it's me, girls. And they're like, oh my gosh. And she's like, these are my girls, they with me. Can we get in? If you don't want to let us in, that's fine, sweetie. We gonna go somewhere else. They're like, no, please come in. So they went in, they had a great time. Drunk so much, they end up going back to Miss Go's house, which was a nice apartment, just had a lot of stuff everywhere. And they took that in like, oh my gosh, your place is a mess. She was like, I was trying to be a minimalist, but then I, gave all my stuff away, so I don't have nowhere to store anything now. So they sat down, they having a little powwow, each of them going around talking. Miss Young is like, Miss Go's like, why did you get a divorce from your husband? What happened? Like, what's going on? And she just like, it's so hard to be that man's wife. Like, I really, really got married because I really felt like he was going to have my back. But I'm carrying the marriage. And it's hard to be in something like that when you're constantly carrying the weight. There's nobody to share it with. I'm always the one they call because they have a son. I'm always the one that they call when something's going on with our son. Can't catch a break, and it was just exhausting. So I wanted out, and of course she was crying because it's painful. And then Donnie was like, y'all don't know this, but I'm a divorcee, and he just left me and our daughter, and it was bad. And she was crying. And then Miss Go was like, you need to go to him and tell him how you feel about him. Like, beat him up too. And she was just like, will y'all come with me? And they're like, of course we gonna go with you. And it's just funny because that's a drunken night with your girls. Like, we gonna go and we gonna beat him up. Yes, we are. So then it's Miss Gold's turn to talk. And she just like, I'm always alone. I eat alone. I come home by myself to myself. There's nobody. There's never anyone. And then she goes and she gets this big picture. in the picture is her in a wedding gown and a guy, well, who was supposed to be her husband, but she never made it to that portion of the wedding. She only got the photographs, which is weird to me. Like, do they take pictures first before they get married? Is that how it is? That's interesting. So, yeah, she left him, and then she just like basically like she thinks about him, and like if she bumps into him again, she says she thinks that means that they're meant to be like that. So yeah, they're cool, but you already know. Come back to work. Donnie and Miss Young like, hey girl, hey. They're like, hey girl, and Miss Go's like, ladies. It's just like, really? You wasn't just crying in my lap? Like, she wasn't, but you know what I'm saying. You was bare soul to me. And now you acting like you don't know me. What is that about? That's crazy. All right, you got it. So then there was a moment where Donnie and Miss Young had stayed back to work on something, and they was going to order food. And they asked Miss Go, what did she want to stay? But she was just like, no. She was like, don't worry about it. I'll pay for the food. You guys have a good night. I'm going to go. So who comes to deliver the food? The guy that she left at the altar. Hello? Like, what? This show was full of like, how is this possible moments? And he just like, yeah, you know, this is my restaurant. You know, I hope that you guys will order again, blah, blah, blah. So Miss Go's like, here, guys, I'm going to pay. She gives the man the card. But meanwhile, Donnie and Miss Young looking at him like, ain't that the man from the picture? Ain't that the man? Ain't that him? That's him. And I'm like this because I'm like, are they going to allow them to see each other? Because, you know, sometimes in shows, they just miss each other. But this one gave us the gem, okay? So she gives him her card. He swipes it. He gives it back to her. And then he looks at her and they just freeze like this. And he's like, okay, have a good night. Like that. And they're like, she looking shocked. They're like, girl, ain't that Donald? She's like, what? No, I don't know who that is. And you could tell she's on the brink of tears. And they're like, well, you got to tell him how you feel. And I remember you said. And she just like, okay. So she went downstairs and he was waiting on his little motor scooter bike. And he was just like, how you been? You got kids? You married? And she just like, poor thing. Had to lie. You was a Lion King. Why? He was like, good. I always wondered if you was gonna be alone. I'm so glad that you're not by yourself. And that was so sweet. And he was like, yeah, me and my wife, we have a restaurant. I'm just getting back on my feet. We got like 3 and 4 kids. And, you know, everything's going well. Do stop by. We would love to have you. And she was like, yeah. He's like, okay, take care. It was sad. Because you said if I bump into him again, it's meant to be. But the whole time, the man got a family. That's just the way it is, I guess. But yeah, so Donnie goes on a date with Umbrella. And they really like each other. But she's like, I got to tell you something about me. And maybe you're going to look at me differently. He's like, what is it? She's like, okay, first I'm 37. And he drops his utensil. And she's like, okay. She said, and I also have a daughter. And he choked on his drink. And she just like, oh, what? He's like, no. She's like, So the date is over. She goes home. She's upset. She's like, it's over. I hate him. Like, I don't never want to talk to him again. And Chad's like, what happened? What did he do? You don't like him no more? What happened? He happy. He eating it up. Because he's like, good. It's just what I wanted anyway. I don't want you talking to him anyway. Because what happened was, one time they was eating and he called her and he said, "Where are you?" She said, "Oh, I'm at the little noodle shop or wherever they was at." He was like, "Oh, I'm about to pull up. I'm right here." And she's like, "Yeah, you can join me. I'm with my friend." And when he went to the window and seen Umbrella and they was looking at each other and they had their little dinner, and she like, "Y'all know each other?" And he was like, "Yeah, we know each other." So he texting her, "Girl, how could you? Like, you talking to him? Did you tell him that we work together? Did you tell him that we live together?" She done told the man everything. So Chai is like pissed. Pissed. And Umbrella is like, "I hope you're not asking her through your phone if she told me that she works for Gayuru, because I already know. She already told me." So whatever. But ultimately, they didn't work out because, of course, Donnie starts to like Cha. She's seen another side of him. Like, he's just really there for her. And always, like, and it was crazy because she started to live with him. He's like, "You can live here for 6 months." She said, "Okay." Then after 6 months, I'm going to move out. And, you know, I'm going to keep my word. I'm going to get out of here. He was like, "Okay, it's a deal. I don't mind having you here." And you could tell that he was starting to like her because he really did not care. He went from somebody that was just like so compressed until he was being cool. So she was living there, but every time that Hey Ring came over drunk, she had to leave. So one day she was just like, "I didn't have nowhere to go." And then he just snapped on her. He's like, "Why you keep saying that you don't have nowhere to go? You have me. I am your home. When you have nothing, I am your home." And I was just like, "Oh." But I really couldn't come in because that girl was there and she didn't know I was living there, and she didn't know that we have a little thing going on, like we kicking it old school, and she didn't know. So I ultimately did not have no place to go. And you are my home, but if my home is in our home, then I'm not home. I'm homeless. But yeah, so when he starts to like her and she's living there, of course, he's telling Hey Ren, "Look, you know, mad love, you my sis. Ouch. But don't come over my house no more because I have a woman living there." She's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you can't come over here no more." He didn't tell her who. He's just like, "You can't." So she asking Donnie that, because she came over his house before. She came over there to work on a project because nobody knew that they was living together. And she was just like, "Is there a woman over there?" And she was like, "No, there's no woman." I knew he was lying. But anyways, and also he read all the letters that she put in his bookshelf, and he even put a letter in there for her, basically like, "I'm sorry that you didn't get from me what you deserved, and I really hope that you find somebody, and I will wait until you find someone so your heart can heal." Because she was just like, "You better not talk to nobody else. It's going to be a long time before I get over you, da-da-da-da." But the wonders of the Lord, he's like, "No, it's not going to be a long time. You know why? I'm going to help you." So Umbrella and Donnie, she just like, "Look, you're a really nice guy. I really dig you. We're just going to be friends." And he was like, "I can't be your man." She said, "You could be my man's." That's that. So that was that. And of course he was sad, but you know, that's why he's here now. That's why he's out there making dinner for the fam. Thank you, Donnie, for giving me a blessing that I already knew was gonna be mine anyway. Thank you. Yeah. So he and Hayren had a Tom and Jerry relationship, always bickering, and I secretly loved it because I'm just like, I really just hope that they don't get together, because, you know, why do shows always do that? The people that fight are the ones that really love each other. And I don't want them to love each other. I want the show to end and they never talk to each other and they just hate each other for the whole show, because I was a hater. Duh, I'm a hater. So yeah, they was arguing back and forth because she just like, basically, you're not good at what you do, because he had an idea for a cover of a book that they working on. And she was just like, "That sounds whack, He was like, "All right, you didn't even let me show you the picture." So he showed her the picture. She ended up loving it. He was like, "See, told you." So they started to get cool, whatever. they was working on something. She called him when he was off. He went over there to see what was going on. She was at some little cafe. They ended up falling asleep on each other. It was cute. I give them that. It was cute. There was a the book show. So book show. It was a book reading. The author had a book reading, and Miss Young was in charge of putting that together, but her son got sick. And of course they called her, so she had to go, and she was just like, just tell them, I forget what she said, just tell them I got in an accident or something like that. I don't know. Every time that something happened with her son, she used to lie because she didn't want them to look at her as if, I don't know, maybe that she, which is correct, value family over job any day. So I don't know. She wasn't there, so Donnie had to do it, and Cha helped her. And everybody pitched in and helped her, and it was a success. And you could kind of see their love. They were standing next to each other, holding hands behind each other's backs. And people were like, hey, Ren. And Umbrella was looking at them like, what's going on? And Hayren's parents was there because obviously they wanted Hayren to be with Cha. But when they found out that Cha didn't want her, they wanted to beat him up. And they did get a few licks in. So, but yeah, ultimately they figured out that they was together and they was plotting their revenge. But come on now. Also, the author that was missing, we find out that he is actually Cha's mentor, who Cha goes to see on a regular basis. And he spends a lot of time with him because now he has dementia, so he doesn't remember things. So we also find that he has a book called April 23rd, and people are just trying to figure out why is the title of the book that, what's going on there. And we connect the dots here. So there's a book called The Heroes or something like that comes out, and they're making it seem as if it was had a connection with the missing author, which it did, because Umbrella actually wrote it under alias to try to trick people, but Hayren and Cha figured out that that's the missing author's son. Now, April 23rd is Umbrella's birthday, so his father named that book after his birthday, even though the book didn't have nothing to do with him. The title was his birthday. His mother and the author broke up, but the mother was pregnant. She didn't tell him, so she had Umbrella and raised him. And the whole time, Umbrella grew up thinking that his father never cared for him or never wanted to look for him, but he ends up going to see his father because something happened to his mom, and he was just like, look, it's my mom, and please, I promise I won't bother you ever again, just please send money, we need help. So that was the only time they ever seen each other, and of course the author wrote it down because he has dementia, so he said, I can't forget this, I have to remember that. So it's sad because the whole time Umbrella was thinking that his father had forgotten about him, but he literally don't remember him because the dementia wiped it all away. So he thinks that Cha is his son because Cha keeps coming to visit, but really Umbrella is his biological son. And it was just so sad. It was sad. He went through a lot, that man. He went through a lot. And Cha was like, look, we know that you had an alias and you wrote this book as if it was your father's book. We know what's going on. We know that you're his son. And you need to go see about him and come with me. So they went to see him. He wasn't doing good. He ended up passing away. And it was just sad. And it brought closure to Umbrella. But before that whole closure, he had a struggle. And it might have been before the funeral or after. I'm not too sure, but there was a point in time where he just shut himself out from the world. He shut the world out. And Cha and Hayren were worried about him, but Hayren got to his house and she just was like, I'm just going to stay out here and I'm here for you. I'm your friend. And she stayed there for the whole day. She sat outside his house. And yeah, eventually he ended up, feeling better about himself, and he pulled it together. She brought him some food from her parents' restaurant because her parents own a restaurant and they make food, and she took him leftovers and they were eating together. And he was like, "Did you cook this?" And she's like, "No, I got this from my family. It's just leftovers that they always give me." And he was like, "Oh, they say that when a woman brings food to a man they're dating." I don't know. He sounded like he made that up. I don't know. And she was like, "What? Boy, I'm gonna bring you something else next time." Like, okay. Um, yeah, so they started their little friendship. They was friends because he really wasn't speaking to her at one point in time because she was drinking a lot because he broke her heart, so she was just doing a lot, and she drunk some cucumber, something she was allergic to. She was passed out. It was just a whole drama. And he was just like, "I don't want nothing to do with you. You're crazy." But they got over that, and he finally forgave her after she just kept begging and saying, "I'm sorry, da da da." And yeah, she's the one that also cracked the code of him being under the alias writer because she went through his garbage when he was asleep. In his house, she went through his shredded papers and started piecing things together. So when the book got delivered to their publishing company under that alias, she's like, this is so familiar," and she figured it out. So go girl. Yeah. Now, who else do we need to get into? Oh, CEO has 2 kids. His wife passed, unfortunately, but he's a single dad, and he's very good. He's a good boss. He's nice. He's passionate. He's a friend. I like him. I like him a lot. Ji Yul and Ki Dong, he likes her. Now, something about her, she didn't take her job seriously until she got in trouble. And how she got in trouble was she is supposed to be doing a thorough check on this author that they write in the bio for before they put his book out. And she missed one word, one important word. Say it was botanist. She missed botanist. So he calls, "Okay, thank you for my book. I'm looking here. I see that you forgot that I'm a botanist, or you left this out. Like, really? Somebody needs to fix this." So Hey Ren, who works on the book for a year and gave the recruit a task, and she didn't take it seriously. She all on like, it's a mistake. Like, it's a mistake happened, but you can't do that. Because so what happens is when they mess up the books, they have to shred them. And they already released 5,000 copies. So that's a lot of books to shred. And for somebody who works hard on a book, to see your book get shredded, that would drive you crazy. So she snapped on her and she said, "I worked so hard on this, and I'm not going to let you do this. We're not going to shred those books. I can't shred those books. What you're going to do is take 5,000 revised and corrected stickers of the autobiography, not the autobiography, the biography in his book, and place it inside each book over the mistakes that you made." Can you imagine? I'd be praying to get beamed up. 5,000 books, and I gotta put stickers on all of them. You better take your job serious. That will teach you right there. That will teach you. Take your job seriously, because it's not a joke. It is really not a joke. So she had to do that, and then Ki Dong, with his sweetheart self, he went there. He brought her food. She didn't care about that he was there. She cared about the food, obviously, because she took him for granted for a while. And she was calling him ugly, which I didn't like that. And I honestly felt like she didn't deserve to be with somebody like that. She deserved less, and he deserved better, okay? Because he was really nice and consistent. Even when he found out that she has to go on these blind dates and she hated it. He said, use me to your benefit. Tell your mother that me and you is together so that you can get a break. Even the mother came to his apartment, like, you not going to talk to my daughter. And he was like, look, I love your daughter and I want to marry her. And if you keep bothering us, I'm going to take her and I'm going to run away with her. Obviously, he was just talking. But the mother, she was just like, you're crazy. Meanwhile, she's a crazy one. Mirror meet mirror, okay? And yeah, she was just like, all right, you want to date him? You can't be in my house. So she kicked her out. And I don't know why Ki Dong ended up giving her his apartment while he slept at the sauna house. And it's just like, it's the other way around for me. If you come into my house, you ain't going to tell me to get out. You get out. It's my house. I pay the bills here. Like, it's not going to work. So yeah, he ended up letting her stay there. And he slept at the little sauna house. And it was just crazy. So what happened was he met up with somebody that was working in the same field as him, but she thought he was going on a blind date, so that's when her feelings came right on out. He went to the bathroom, she went to the table, and she was just like, I'm his roommate and I'm crazy, so watch your back. And I mean it, I'm crazy. So he came back to the table and he was like, so do you think I could join your group? And she's like, I'm sorry, you can't join our group. Your roommate is crazy. She was just here. She is very scary. And he was like, what was she doing here? And the lady was like, I don't know. I got to go. So he go back to the house and he just like, did you really just bum rush my meetup like that? I wasn't on no date. I was just trying to talk to somebody for the business. And she was just like, oh, I misunderstood. He's like, do you like me? She was like, no. Yes, she did, because she got off the bus and followed him. After he got off the bus before her, she got off and then she followed him. She liked him. Why people can't just say how they feel? What is with that? What's the taboo behind that? You want to live a life of loneliness while the person that you like, love, is out there flourishing without you when you know that you can make them happy, or at least try. Come on now. Stop it. So, yeah. Eventually, she's on a blind date, and he looks in the window, and the blind date's like, who is that? And she's like, oh, that's my uncle. Girl. She gets up, and he gets up, and he's like, come on, let's go, babe, honey. And she's like, no, don't call me that. And he walks off, and she follows behind him, and she kisses him. And he's like, what was that? He's like, does that mean that you my girlfriend now? And she's like, yup. So that's their little love story there. And then CEO and Miss Go, which I was secretly like shipping that. Even though it wasn't giving nothing. It gave nothing. It was like a Broadway show with no audience and no performance. You get nothing. I wasn't getting no kind of hints off of that, but I just wanted her to have somebody. So she was asleep in her office because she works. And he wrote her a note. And he was just like, I know you love work, but you got to live your life too. You just got to live. So she came in his office and she was like, let's get off work early. Let's go to the beach. So they ended up going out. And it was so cute. I like that for them. They ended up being together too. Because at the end of the show, Donnie and Cha are holding hands. And there was a point in the show where Donnie was like, a young boy kissed me. And he only 32. He ain't that young. He ain't that much younger. She only 5 years older. So, they finally connected that he was the young boy. And they're just like, oh my gosh. They're holding hands together. They're like, we're in a relationship. And they're like, dang, y'all together. Anybody else in a relationship that we don't know about? Then CEO and Miss Go put their hands up. And it's like, yay. And then Bong trying to grab Miss Young. She like, boy, if you don't. Because she is through. She started dating. I think she had 3 boyfriends by the time the show was over. She was in relationships. She had many a boats, many a yachts. I'm on ships and cruises, okay? Hate it or love it. So, but yeah, I always felt like he really wanted to get back with her. And she was still so very nice to him, but it's just like, I can't be your wife, but I could be your friend. So that was that. And ultimately, 10 out of 10. I enjoyed the show thoroughly. But wait, How y'all gonna let me forget the fact that Umbrella and Hey Ren were having like a lunch date, and her mother calls, and her mother's like, "Oh, I have somebody for you. I have somebody that I want you to go on a date with." And she's just like, "All right, mom." He's like, "What? Who is actually like my mother? I have something to do." He was like, "I thought we was gonna have dinner tonight." She's like, "No, I have a blind date." And he's like, "Wait, what?" She's like, "Yeah, I have a blind date." He said, "No, you can't." And she just like, "Why? What's going on?" And he was like, "My father said that when you find someone, you should want to be a book for them." He said, "I want to be a book for you." And she like, "Okay, what kind of book?" He's like, "Romance." I'm just like, you see, this is why. And so you get the understanding that they're going to be together. So it was a lot of happy endings in this show, and I felt good about it. But wait, Donnie had got fired because they found out that she lied on her resume. How they found out was when they had the book reading, a lady that interviewed her was there. And her and Miss Go were friends. And she was like, "I know her. She works here." She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "She has a college degree." And Miss Go's like, "You must be mistaken, because no, she's high school, entry level." She's like, "No, she's not." She's like, "Are you sure?" She said, "I'm positive." So they found out that she lied on her resume, her application, and it went against the rules, and she ended up getting fired. And it was a big sad experience because she really gave a lot to the job, and she was really a great help to them, and they really needed her. And it was a shame because they couldn't hire her, like they had some kind of rule, which they end up abolishing, which I love that, because anybody should be able to apply for a job that they qualify for. Miss Gold ends up referring her to another publishing company, which was terrible. And you're not ever going to be my friend after this, because when she went there, it was another lady there. And the lady said, "You better get out of here. You better get out of here now. This is a big mistake. You don't want to work here. It's terrible here." And she just like, "Okay, girl." But it really was. The publishers were fraud AF. They were plagiarizing and copy and pasting stuff and not paying people, and it was just a big thing. And Donnie was like, "I can't take this no more. I am out of here. You should be ashamed of yourself." So she left. But she did a contest over at Gayuru, and she ended up getting picked for that. So they was going to do her book. So of course the CEO, he didn't want to let her go, and it was just so sad. But he comes to her job, and he just like, "We need you back. We want to hire you back." And she just like, "Well, honestly, I'm doing so good here. Like, I'm making a lot of money, and I'm just doing my thing." And like, he's like, "That's cool. We will pay you 1,000 times more." She's like, "No, but you don't understand. I'm doing so well." He was just like, "We will pay you a zillion times more." And she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna see you tomorrow." So she ended up back working there, and yeah, that was good. Another thing was Cha finally met up with the husband, who was acting like he wasn't even in town. "I don't even live here no more." That's what he was on. He was walking with Hayren. He happened to see him peeking out the restaurant. I guess he was talking to somebody or whatever. And he was like, "I need to go in here." Cha's like, "I need to go in here." Hayren's like, "We need to go in there." He's like, "No, me need to go in there. You, you need to go home." So she left. He went in there. And the dude already, he's scared. He just like, "Just let me punch you once." He's like, "You can't hit me." So they chasing each other. And eventually, he gets the whole 2-piece biscuit and a soda. He get the combo. So he just like at the table with his fiance. I don't know if she's his fiance, but she's pregnant. And Cha's like, you need to write Donnie an email, apologize, tell her you was out of your mind, and you're back now. Like not you're back like I'm gonna be back in your life, but I'm back like my head is clear. I understand everything is cool now. I'm alright now. And send her money. Because do you understand the predicament that you put this woman and your child in? You left them with nothing. He's like, I don't have money. It's like, oh, you don't? That's fine. I can just come here every day and beat you up. He was just like, no. He's like, yeah, I'll just beat you up every day. I could do it. I totally could do it. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this. So he sent the email. Donnie was reading it. She was like, please tell Cha not to come here again. And that's how she knew that he went there and he mollywopped them. And when she checked her account and saw those extra zeros, she was shook. But Cha already knew. Like, see, he fulfilled it. He gave his word and he followed through. That's good. You have your money, girl. I'm happy for you. And ultimately, like I said, the show was very, very good. There's not going to be another season. That came out in 2019. And it really doesn't, it can be further developed like a lot of shows. But sometimes you just leave it where it is. And I enjoyed it. 2 thumbs up. No sideways thumbs like Media Garden. And can we please help me understand why in Media Garden, when Daming Sa and Shansai got married, where was her parents? I've been thinking about that all day and all night, and I'm just like, I should have put that in my bonus. Where was her parents? I'm not getting married without my parents there. Like, who gonna give me away? Anyhow, that's all. That's it. That's everything. Hopefully. If not, you'll let me know if you've seen it. I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you for watching. I love you a lot. I'll see you soon for another review. Bye-bye.